And why is the reason that Microsoft is looking bearish? Well, because it's a blow off top into a liquidity grab. We were breaking, we actually had 1 week closing above this resistance, and that was a bullish signal, but this one actually got invalidated. As then the next week, red candlestick, the next week, again, red candlestick, and now we have broken down. So this is actually a pretty solid argument for the bears. And I know Microsoft is not going to drag the market by itself, but still being such an important stock, the most valuable stock, depending on what day we're discussing, it's fighting the number one battle there with NVIDIA. Basically, it's all been Microsoft versus NVIDIA for the number one price in the market. Apple has been kind of relegated a bit lately. It has not been able actually to do an all-time high, Apple, different from NVIDIA and Microsoft, right? So the chart here for Microsoft, as we have actually, what this tells us, this liquidity grab, technical traders, right? We are looking at this pattern. I'm sure many traders were connecting previous 2021, and which were the two tops before the previous bear markets here for Microsoft. This was more than a 20% drop for Microsoft. So this is technically a bear market for the stock. It was almost a 1-year bear market, honestly. From July to April, well, 10 month, but this is still a bear market. Stock dropped 20%, right? It was a nice buy here at the 200 weekly moving average. My point is, previous tops on previous Microsoft bull cycles connecting gives us this resistance here. So technical traders were loading shorts here, positioning short, and then we had that big spike, potentially force exiting all the shorts here. That's a liquidity grab. Market goes higher or lower depending where the liquidity grab is working around. It forced out all these positions, and once we go for the retest, if it's a real breakout, bulls should step in, and we should see confirmation with a higher high against the first initial push, right? But that is not the case. Bulls did not step in, and now Microsoft, it's actually already dropping. We already reached the 0.2 Fibonacci retracement for Microsoft. So I do think we can kind of safely discuss Microsoft is already going through a correction. And that's why I do think we got a bit of mixed signals. So for Microsoft, while we remain below 523, I would be looking at a retest of potential previous all-time highs, located at 467 as the next potential downside target. So I wouldn't be surprised at all that we see a similar scenario, this blow off top we're seeing for Microsoft. I wouldn't be surprised to also see it potentially happening on the NASDAQ, on the S&P 500. Remember how we saw currently in this minute, NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are a bullish breakout from their weekly patterns. Let's see if we're able to close the week like that.